Hello and welcome back everyone to this lecture of company law. Today I would like to first thank each one of you who has subscribed to the channel because our channel has today crossed 1000 subscribers. I would like to also thank each and every student who has viewed the lectures, and I am hopeful that I have made some small contribution to your studies, your preparation for the examination. And also, I would like to promise that I would come up with more regular law lectures which will be helpful for your preparation in the examinations. So, with that, let's move in with the lecture. Today, in this lecture, we are going to cover a part of section 134 which was remaining from the last lecture, which was director's responsibility statement. Okay, but before that, let's look into what all topics we have covered from this chapter of accounts of company. Okay, if we go to the topics, section 128, section 129, which is types of accounts to be maintained, has already been covered, and all three topics under this particular section have been uploaded on the channel itself. Also, section 130 is uploaded, section 131 is uploaded, section 132, 133. 133 is a very small part of it, so that is not uploaded, but section 132, which is NFRA, has been uploaded with a detailed analysis of the same. Section 134, I have already uploaded two, and I would be today putting in the third part of it, which is speaking about directors' responsibility statement. So this lecture will cover director's responsibility statement. And going forward, in next few days, I will be uploading section 135, which is CSR, section 136, 137, and we'll conclude this chapter with section 138, internal audit. Okay. So without wasting any time, let's dive into section 134, subsection 3, clause C, which covered that a board report includes director's responsibility statement, and I had promised you that I'll bring a separate lecture for director's responsibility statement. So this is the lecture where we will cover director's responsibility statement, which has been covered under section 134 subsection 3, clause C, which covers about board report, or you can call it as contents of board report. Okay, contents of board report. So let us understand what is director's responsibility statement. See, the board report under section 134 is placed by the directors, the board of directors, to the shareholders in the AGM, where they are giving a summary of all the activities that has been taken place during that period to the shareholder. So they are accountable. They are accountable to the shareholders in the AGM, where they are giving an account of whatever operations or state of affairs of the company is. Okay. Now, along with the other documents that are provided, like the financial statement, the notes of the directors, has already been provided. And apart from that, directors' responsibility statement is one very, very important document which is a part of the board report. Okay. So let us understand what is the content of the director's responsibility statement. So, director's responsibility statement shall state that, see, this is all given by the directors to the shareholders, where they are taking responsibility that these are the things that we take responsibility about. Like, first of all, in preparation of the annual accounts. So, the directors are taking responsibility that in preparation of the annual accounts, applicable accounting standards had been followed, along with proper explanation to any material departures. So the directors are stating in this statement that the applicable accounting standards have been followed by the company for its financial statement. And in case there is any material departure from the accounting standards, then a proper explanation to that shall be provided in this statement. Okay, the first point. Second point is directors had selected such accounting policies and applied them and applied them applied them consistently. So the directors are taking responsibility that accounting policies have been selected by the directors, and and have been applied consistently, and wherever it was necessary, the directors have made judgments and estimates which are reasonable and prudent, So these 2 points. First point is accounting policies being selected and applying them consistently, and the second point is making judgments or estimates which are reasonable and prudent. Why? To give the shareholders true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company and of the profit and loss of the company for that period. For that period. So we have so far covered 2 points. First point was that the directors take responsibility that they have applied the applicable accounting standards. If there is any material departure, then a proper explanation will be provided. Second point says that directors take responsibility that they had selected accounting policies and applied them consistently throughout the accounts, throughout the financial statements, and have made any judgment or estimate that are reasonable and prudent so as to give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company and of the profit and loss of the company for that period. This is given to whom? This is given to the stakeholders and the shareholders. Okay, so 2 points are covered. Now, the third point is directors also take responsibility that they had taken proper and sufficient care for maintenance of accounting records in accordance with the provisions of the Act. So they have taken proper and sufficient care for the maintenance of adequate accounting records. So this point speaks about what? It speaks about maintenance of records. So proper and adequate, or you can say sufficient care has been taken by the directors in accordance with the provisions of the Act for safeguarding the assets of the company and for preventing and detecting any fraud or any other irregularities. So the records are maintained in such a manner that is specified by the provisions of the Act. For what is the objective of maintaining this records? The objective is safeguarding of assets of the company and at the same time preventing and detecting frauds and any other irregularities. So this is the third point. Fourth point is the directors had prepared annual accounts on the basis of what? Which basis? On the going concern basis. Fifth point is in case the company is a listed company, then the directors had laid down financial controls, internal financial controls which are adequate and operating effectively. So, in case of listed companies, directors had laid down internal financial controls, and these controls are adequate and operating effectively. This is the responsibility that the directors are taking in this statement. Next, directors had devised proper safeguards or proper systems. Directors had devised proper systems to ensure compliance with the provisions of all applicable laws. So a compliance system has been put in place where there might be a compliance department, there might be some compliance MISs going through, which will ensure that the company is updated with the applicable laws and is complying with all the applicable laws to the company. Okay, and at the same time they say that such systems are adequate and operating effectively. Okay, so these are the points which are there within the director's responsibility statement. So this that again a small recap. The director's responsibility statement is covered under section 134 subsection 3 clause C, where the section says that board report would include director's responsibility statement. Okay, the first point is directors within this statement are taking responsibility that the annual accounts of the company has been prepared with the in accordance with the applicable accounting standards, and if there is any material departure, then there is a proper explanation which is given. Second point says that the accounting policies are selected by the directors and have been applied consistently, and they have made judgments and estimates that are reasonable and prudent so as to give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company and the profit and loss of the company for that period. Third point says that the directors had taken proper and sufficient care for the maintenance of the adequate accounting records with accordance with the provisions of the Act for safeguarding the assets of the company and for preventing and detecting any kind of fraud or other irregularity. Finally, the directors have also taken responsibility that the annual accounts have been prepared on the going concern basis, and if there is a company which is a listed company, the directors have put in place, have laid down internal financial controls which are adequate and effectively operating. Finally, the last point says that the directors had devised proper systems to ensure compliance with provisions of all applicable laws and that such systems are adequate and operating effectively. So this covers director's responsibility statement. Now there are two more points which I think I have not covered in the previous lecture, which I would like to cover over here, which is who will sign the board report. Who will sign the board report? So the board report will be signed, is given under section 134, subsection 6. So it will be signed by the chairperson of the company. It will be signed by the chairperson of the company, but only if he is authorized by the board. Only if he is authorized by the board. If he is not authorized by the board, if he is not authorized by the board, then by at least two directors, out of which one shall be an managing director of the company. Okay, and now there might be some companies where there are only one director. Then in that case, that single director will be signing the board report. Okay, this point is clear. Now the last point is, in case there is any contravention to any of the provisions of this section. This section means section 134. Section 134. Then in that case, there will be penalty on the company as well as every officer who is found to be in default with the law. Okay, with the law. So company for the company, the penalty will be 3 lakh rupees, and for every such officer who is in default from this company will be having a penalty of 50,000 rupees. Okay, so these are the provisions under section 134. With this, we have completed section 134 completely. Okay, so there are 3 lectures of section 134. Go through all 3 lectures very carefully. It is an important section because it speaks about board report, and going forward in the next lecture I will be uploading section 135, which is CSR, and subsequent lectures, 3 more lectures for this particular chapter, and we will be completing this chapter altogether. Okay, after that, which chapter should I be starting? Please comment on the in the comment box so that I can start that chapter also. Okay, so that's it from me for this lecture. Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself and do study hard.